Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Now that my two obligatory informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And people have awared me that Omar Isuf has hit a 315 incline. 315 incline for New Year's. So let me flip that in here. Damn, son, that is good shit. So let me put on my +5 out of weaponsmithing. Work on skilling up my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. You know, I think it's interesting that Omar has set some pretty serious strength goals out there because, I always set strength standards. I set ideas and say, hey, these are the lifts that you guys should be hitting. And the funny thing is, the lifts I put forward, I have people who say, I don't know, man, I think that's asking a lot. It's like, I don't think it is. Guys, I have strength standards that I think all of you guys should reach. And if you reach all of those strength standards, you're going to be pretty jacked for a natural, right? You're going to be pretty jacked. You're going to be reasonably jacked. Everyone's going to know that you lift. No one's going to think that you're small walking down the street. And like I said, if you hit all of the strength standards I set, it is going to have to require a certain amount of body composition. Also, you're not going to be able to be really fat and pull all 5 of them off. You might pull off 4 of them, right? But not all 5. So I have my own standards, but Omar's pressing standards are even higher than the ones I set, because what is it that he's saying he thinks people need to do, right? 225 strict standing press, which I've done on camera. He wants to see like a 350 flat bench, 315 incline. Now, if those are all paused, that's serious. Now, he didn't pause on the incline, but even then, a 315 touch and go incline, like a legit incline at 45 degrees without lifting the ass off the bench, that's actually pretty strong, especially considering his overall body weight. That's legit, man. But those are some pretty lofty standards. Those are lofty standards. Those are higher than the standards I set, right? Those are higher than the standards I set. But he's talking about lifetime. These are goals we should be striving towards. And I think they're pretty good goals. And I do appreciate the fact that he is trying to do what he can do. And that's something I'll give Omar credit for. There are times when I've given Omar a lot of hell lately for talking about too much fluff and pump and everything else when he has historically had a really good strength channel. And I'm always going to give him shit for that. And he deserves shit for that. It's like, come on, Omar, stick to the strength stuff. You know personally that's what works. You know that adding all this fluff in does not put size on naturals already. You know that. You've been in this game a real long time, Omar. You know that. So I'm going to give him crap for selling out a little bit. But where I've got to give credit is, he's had some injuries. He's got his labia tear, and he's got his hernia and everything happening. And so he says, look, I've got to work around these things for now. Just like me, I mean, I've got a pulled erector, I've pulled in my back a little bit, and so I'm having to rehab my lower back while doing what I can do, which has limited me a little bit. But I'll bounce back. Because I know how to work around these things. But he's got way more serious than anything I've got going on there. And he's choosing to work around it and say, okay, I have to let some of these other things heal, take a little bit of a back seat while I rehabilitate all of this, but I can push these other things to the limits. And you got to respect that when a guy says, okay, so I've got these injuries to work around, but can I set a lifetime PR on the incline? And he does it. Mad respect for that, because that's what we should all be doing. We're always going to have setbacks. All of us are going to have pulls. We're going to have minor injuries. And that's something you guys better get ready for, right? You better get ready for that. It's going to happen. You're going to pull muscles. You're going to have minor problems here and there, especially as we get older. You guys start getting past 30. You get past 40, like where I'm at, you do have to watch these things. It doesn't mean you can't train hard. It doesn't mean you shouldn't strive to be your best, but you do need to watch these things. They're going to happen. Now, people are going to say, well, does that mean you shouldn't be training so hard as you're older? No, it doesn't mean that at all, because people who don't train are hurt even worse. Meaning, when you start getting to 40 plus, the guys who don't train, are more beat up and banged up than those of us who train hard. In other words, you get your deadlift over 500 pounds, even though you might get hurt every now and then, you're still going to be less hurt than the sedentary guy. He's going to be more beat up than you are because he's going to get hurt picking up the groceries. In other words, what you're going to find as you get older, and Omar kind of addressed something on this, and I want to talk about that minor caveat in his video, but that's a point that you need to understand. When you get older and you build a strength base, doing a 500-pound deadlift carries about the same injury risk for you that the other older guys, middle-aged guys, I don't want to say older, middle-aged. The other middle-aged guys get hurt carrying in the groceries at the same rate that you do doing a 500-pound deadlift. And you don't get hurt doing that stuff. Like, what really only happens is that we get hurt when we do silly show-off stuff outside the gym. But Omar said something in there that he's like, younger me saw this 315, saw how fast it was. Younger me would have said, hey, I can go for 325. I'm going to go for 325. But he said, me today, I know better. Because we need to talk about building strength versus demonstrating strength. Right? And that's something I talk about. That's something we hear Paul Carter and other people talk about. That's important in our training, guys. You need to understand the difference. There is a difference between building strength and demonstrating strength. And the things that we do day in, day out in our training is there to build strength. Now, a demonstration of strength might have been like he might have got a training effect. He's hit the heaviest single he's ever hit on the incline. Then he probably did some other training after. That's part of the strength building process. Demonstrating strength would be, okay, I've hit a 315. That's my best ever. I've PR'd. I've got some progressive overload. Let me push it to the limit. Outside of a competitive environment where there's no trophy on the line, no money on the line, no title on the line, to do that is just silly because you're not going to get an additional training effect. In other words, going above around 90% total effort, and that could be an RPE 9, meaning a training max, not a true max, not a competition max, doesn't have any additional stimulus. We know that. The research shows that. Going to muscle failure doesn't build a single drop more muscle or a single drop more strength than stopping 1 rep short of failure. If you know where 1 rep short of failure is. Now, the novice doesn't always know that. That's why sometimes they are advising some lifts to go to failure because they don't know it by feel. When you get more experience, you do. And yes, guys, I'm sorry. There's going to be a lot of interruptions in this video. That's not normal for me. There's an unusual amount of traffic at 6 a.m. on my street this morning and backup sirens and everything. I don't know what's going on. But this video is going to be a little more choppy than we're used to for me just because of it. But back to the point. The novice lifter can't always, but as we get older, that's the reality of it. There is no training effect in going beyond that. All there is higher injury risk. All there is higher overtraining risk. And it's about consistency, guys. It is consistently pushing a certain threshold over time repeatedly that builds strength, that builds muscle, that does all of that. And there's a difference between doing that and demonstrating strength. A demonstration of strength can in some cases even have a lower training effect because sometimes it'll ingrain a bad motor pattern. In other words, Omar had a good speed, good bar path, no grinding, everything else on that, right? He ingrained a certain motor pattern with that heavy lift. Had he gone heavier and then hit a heavy grinder, that's not going to ingrain the same bar path. It's thousands and thousands of perfect reps that build strength, right? You want to ingrain the motor patterns that you're looking for. You need to, again, stimulate tissue through tension, through metabolic fatigue. And that is done through repetition. In other words, let's say you've got a certain amount of hypertrophy going and you want to get stronger on an exercise by training the motor pattern, doing singles at 90%. Heavy singles at 90%, explosively, pushing really hard with compensatory acceleration and perfect form, doing hundreds of reps, even singles over time at 90%, will build strength. That'll build a 1 rep max because you're ingraining perfect technique, perfect bar speed over and over and over, right? And that's how you do it. That's how you do it. That will build strength. That's what you're looking for, because you have the muscle tissue component. That's the most important part to your strength, right? Is the hypertrophy. That is like 90% of your strength right there. The neural efficiency, the motor pattern, the motor unit learning, all of those things, that is the other 10%. And that is done through perfect technique, perfect form. So I think he was smart. I think he was wise. This is someone who's had some injuries now. He says, okay, I hit that PR. I'm done. I don't need to come in and add another 10 pounds. Even if I think I could get it, no, I'm good. I hit my PR. I hit my goal. We're done. And that's just smart training. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.